to age-old handlooms and looking at the policy support required to transition the livelihoods of weavers to sustainable levels. I welcome the esteemed panel and moderator on stage, Rupa Mehta, President of World Fair Trade Organization, our moderator and Executive Director of SASHA. Our panelists for today, Dr. Ritu Sethi, Founder, Trustee, Craft Revival Trust. Everyone, please give a round of applause. Alna Sawant, Textile Designer and Craft Revivalist. Dr. Vandana Bhandari, Author and Educator. Rita Prem Hem Rajni, Managing Director, National Handloom Development Corporation Limited. I now hand over Ms. Mehta and the panel.
So hello everybody, and now it's almost good afternoon. So I think I was a little thoughtful after the morning session because, can you hear? No? Too soft? Yeah. Because what I heard from William Bissell was a very positive, note, talking about how the demand for handlooms and for the craft sector, how it's growing. And then Rajnikant spoke about, again, that the turnover has grown from 200 to 800. And then we heard the weavers. And I think just to remind ourselves about some basic reality which has been spoken about so often, is that handlooms and the handloom sector, it's an integral part of our cultural heritage, of our identity. It has huge potential for generating livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods, and also for creating prosperity. It can contribute substantially to the national income, to the GPD, yeah, I get it right, okay. So I think the other thought that came to me as I was listening to everybody, and knowing our very informed, experienced panelist. So I just thought that, okay, this entire journey started before independence with the Swadeshi movement. And then through the years, of course, there were ups and downs, but there have been so many revivalists, designers, government agencies, government departments, policies, and historians, everybody who has spoken about and in their own way did so much for the sector. But much more needs to be done. And today, I am hoping, and I think if the panelists would explore ways of how we can converge different strategies and to create an enabling ecosystem. I know that's a very popular word, but it's a very loaded one. To make the sector, handloom sector and handlooms thrive, and to create that, that the prosperity which we speak of, and which certainly did not become it wasn't very, what should I say? I don't know what the appropriate word would be, but hearing the weavers, there was a kind of despair. And it wasn't only COVID, because again, COVID, everybody suffered, but that there is no real resilience within the community. There is one part of it that they survive, but nothing which can be called something that would protect them from shocks. So now I think I'll hand over to Rita. First of all, and then would you like to?
Can I speak from there?
Yeah, sure. People can speak sitting there, wherever you like, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I actually prepared a short note because I thought it would be a question answer till I got an email from Rupa saying, no, you have to speak for 10 minutes. So I frantically put something together. So please excuse me. So first of all, I'm delighted to be here. As sustainability and handlooms are such a vast subject, to contain it within the 10 minutes allotted to me by Rupa, I have cherry-picked just two foundational aspects based on the work that the Craft Revival Trust, the organization I work with, has been doing in the past few months. In the first, I cover fibers, the basis of all weaving on any device. In the second, I cover the universal values and aspirations expressed by weavers and artisans for any interaction with the rest of the textile ecology. So to the first, I draw your attention here to the latest edition of the online Global Inch Journal of Intangible Cultural Heritage that was launched on Friday. This edition is a special issue on fibers and is titled Fibers Matter. It has 37 essays and 11 additional writings from our archives. It brings together an amazing mix of the scholarly with on-the-ground case studies from across India and the world. But first, the reasons for this focus. The obvious one is that it remains the base raw material of handloom textiles across the world. And according to statistics from the National Fibers Initiative, its total share in the global fibers market is between 30 to 40%, with man-made fibers making up the rest. Furthermore, its importance lies in the livelihoods of generations, as across the globe, statistics reveal that an estimated 290 million people, which is between 2 to 3% of the world's population, work in natural fiber production or in its value chain. India being one of the big three in its production, along with the US and China. Additionally, with the increasing demand for natural fibers worldwide, with an emphasis on sustainability and on climate change challenges, we thought it was an important subject to bring to the fore, especially as there is a growing debate on water usage around cotton production and its environmental impact. This has been tackled in detail by authors in the issue. What has been the learning from this issue is that there is a movement, a slow but steady regeneration of practices in the growing and spinning of desi cotton in Kutch, Karnataka, Haryana, Punjab, and other pockets in India and in Latin America. Additionally, developments in silk production in Assam and the Northeast. Similarly, of great excitement is a rebuilding of the linkages between pastoralists and the wool value chain of camel, yak, Deccani sheep, chuba, and others. These efforts from Kutch, Kashmir, Karnataka, Himachal, Andhra, Sikkim, Brazil, etc., are rebuilding connections between herders to weavers and markets. In addition, there's a growing interest in alternatives to silk, cotton, and wool. From newer plant fibers, from pineapple, orange peel fibers to water hyacinth and eucalyptus that is already used to produce stencil or lyocell, along with others that are in the process. Other natural fibers include from rami to nettle and other fibers from across India, including the Himalayan region. It is also an exciting time and an innovative time as experimentation from waste, like soy fabric made from the waste of food production, and the amazing innovative developments in waste chicken feathers that are now being woven into silky textiles right here in India, along with ongoing investigations in kelp and waste eggshells. All these portend well for handloom weaving and for the organic and for building linkages with weavers and with others. Along with this is the weaving of used plastic bags that are also part of this brave new world, with innovations only being valid if the yarn and their final conversion suits what the application is, whether it's dress, furnishing, or product. So the requirement of weavability, dye acceptance, wash resistance, strength, drapability, and whatever other criteria the product requires. For each one that passes this litmus test, it builds a sustainable narrative for the earth, for the weavers, for the users. So while we have just touched the tip of the fiber world, the special edition of the issue, special editor of the issue, Juhi Pandey and myself, hope to bring out more information, more scholarship, more ground level work, really building a historiography of the field and helping create networks for those who work in isolated pockets across India, across Latin America, and across other places. So I would urge you, anyone interested in this particular area, to read this latest issue of the Global Inch, which is available online. The second part of my brief intervention is on the expression of weavers and artisans of their expectations of good practices while interacting and co-creating with designers and others to ensure sustainable outcomes. This emerged from an advisory project I worked on for the British Council's Crafting Futures Global Program. This led me to work in Argentina for over 4 years on how collaborative practices and those working in the ecology with makers would support and develop the sustainability of the craft ecosystem in Argentina. Under this premise, research was carried out between 2019 and 2021 to gather the experiences and point of view of artisans in the joint process of co-creation and knowledge exchange. The partners in the project were Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK, Reddit, which is the 7 universities in the Federal Network for Fashion and Textile Design in Argentina, and Fashion Revolution UK. It reached more than 600 weavers, and the initiative also brought together designers, organizations, and others in the ecology. As we proceeded with the research and its subsequent data analysis, what came across starkly was that even though we in South Asia were separated from Latin America by continents and oceans, how strikingly similar the concerns of weavers and artisans were, expressing as they did universal values and aspirations of good practices and the expectations of ethical conduct. We listed these aspirations, and in 2021-22 decided that the project would expand to include the voices of artisans from South Asia, to just show the commonality of issues faced. So what were these universal values that emerged, that were considered invaluable and basic and inherent to dialogue, to interaction, to co-creation, that are thought to be essential to the relationship between weavers and artisans and the world in general? And I list them: respect, recognition, consent, attribution, shared benefits, protection of patrimony, and actively listening. So while we know of all these tacitly, this really became a manifesto for us to carry forward. So while the in-depth research can be seen online, we brought out a simple digital publication titled Artisan Voices, Dialogues for Sustainable Practices, that speaks about these attributes as expressed through quotations from the artisans, spoken through their voices from Argentina, Bolivia, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Widely disseminated, it has been our hope that these voices encourage the developments of the type of society that our times demand: more equitable, more sustainable, and more respectful of cultural diversity, and more in harmony with our planet. In addition, I wish to add that while the project ended, as all projects do, it has continued through 3 different continents: Latin America, Europe, and South Asia, under a new organization called League of Artisans, as there has been a coming together and a hope to carry this manifesto forward. I conclude now, as my experience has been, that what counts in any field is people. It is the action of people that makes a difference in any ecology, including textiles. Weavers, dyers, other makers, transmitters, civil society, activists, students, scholars, teachers, designers, trade, marketeers, corporate, government, curators, people. It is they who swing the pendulum. So those in this room and the many outside are seeding islands of hope, of change, combined with the power of strengthening handloom ecologies to continue to attract talent against the odds. That is where true sustainability and handloom futures lie. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita, and then also for placing the responsibility for change on people. Yeah, instead of institutions and governments, policies and enabling environment can be created, but who translates it into action and then has impact is always people. So now I'll just go at the end of the room and invite Rita Homrajani to share her thoughts on this. Yeah, sure.